Tell me, what are the challenges kind of professionals are facing during that digital transition? In your experience, if you talk about SMEs and contractors that you guys service.
Yeah, I mean, so we work right across the supply chain from the smallest companies all the way through to tier ones, right? But 95%, 99%, I forget the exact number of construction is SMEs, right? So even some of our bigger clients would still be classed as, an SME.
Yeah.
And they might have 100 staff or whatever.
Yeah.
For me, I think that there is still quite a lack of understanding as to what the problem is that a company is trying to solve, right?
Yeah.
And often it's a bit like a QS procuring an architect is a bit more difficult than a QS procuring a subcontractor, right?
Yeah.
I always procure a subcontractor. I know what I need to do.
Yeah.
I procure an architect. They're they've got their own status. I'm not 100% sure what to do because they're a consultant and I don't fully understand it. It's like a different dynamic.
Yeah.
And I often think that the procurement of a software provider is kind of similar to that consultant in that you don't quite know how to do it because it's an abnormal.
Yeah.
And therefore you don't quite get it right.
Yeah.
And therefore it fails.
Yeah.
And therefore people think, oh, software is rubbish, right?
Yeah.
I've had loads of bad experiences with software. But the reality is, what's the problem you're trying to solve, right? And quite often, it doesn't matter, the software can be the best bit of software on the planet. If you don't know why you're doing it, it's going to fail. And if you don't have a policy for it, and it sounds boring, right? Set a policy. But if I simplify it to just like one working example, which is construction company we know had a load of disputes, had some claims against them, didn't have signed contracts, right? And they had unsigned contracts with contractors and it caused a load of problems. So that company sets a policy, which is from now on, you cannot send out a contract unless it's sent out digitally on C-Link, unless it's sent out with a DocuSign on C-Link and approved via C-Link.
Yeah.
That's the policy, right? Our software can do that for them. So if you say, this is what we're now doing, and you say to your 100 QSs, we're doing this, and they say why, and you explain to them why, that's really obvious, isn't it? Okay, we'll do that. That makes sense. And then I won't have a claim against me. I won't look like a fool. So that's what we're doing. That's what we're going to do it. Mr. Software Provider, can you do that for me? Yes. As opposed to what can happen will be, because you're in the unknown, because you're a bit uneducated on the procurement of that service, what could happen is you say, I've got this amazing software, QSs. Use this software. It's going to change your life. 10 of them will be like, okay, great. Another 90 will be like, what are we doing? I've got enough going on in my life. I don't want to do this.
Exactly,
What's the end point? So
the storytelling almost, is it?
It's on us as providers to tell the story, articulate why it needs to be different, how it can be better. But also, like, we will kind of almost insist, like, through the process of customer success and through the sales process, what are you trying to solve? How are you going to solve it? How are you going to change your policy? So, you want a digital contract? This is your new policy. You need to articulate it, and then we'll run it out for you. So I think that it's difficult, and you have to be sure why you're doing it, because software won't solve your problems unless you know what they are, and you say, this is why we're doing it.
I think we often come across it. It's the biggest mistake. People spend tens and thousands of pounds on a new software thinking it's going to solve all these problems they perceive they have, but what they don't look at is the process. What process, first of all, have you? Are you trying to become more efficient in the process? Yes. Well, how do you do that? Is it you redefine the process, you add some digital tools to the process? What is that? Once you understand that, then it becomes kind of easier to implement. We're not guaranteeing success here, but it's still, there's more clarity around the purpose.
Yeah, 100%. And when I parrot that 47% of time can be saved during pre-construction, we're actually like serious about that, right? So our clients will tell us, this is how long it's taken me to do X. This is how long it's taken me to do Y. And we will, through our customer success journey with them, articulate to them, it was taking you 2 hours. It's now taking you 1. This is what you're saving. This is what's happening. These are the little bits of edge that you're getting, right? And that you're taking back. Well, because you want to.
That's the promotion, right?
Exactly.
Why am I spending? There's an extra expense to this. There's an extra cost to me on this.
There needs to be a metric for it, right? Yeah. So I think there's a lot of things to wrap up into it.
Is there differences in the challenges between the smaller SMEs or the larger SMEs? That 100 people versus the 10 people. teams? Is there big differences in their challenges, or is it similar problems?
It's similar problems. It's scale really. Because whether it's a team of 10 or it's a team of 100, right? The bell curve kind of exists for people who are the early adopters and people who are the laggards, right? You just got a different sample. But so you're always going to have people who are like, oh, I don't want to do it, and people who are desperate to do it. What you just have to, it's change management, whether it's a team of 1, 10 or 100, and you have to change the culture, and you have to change the culture from a policy, right?
Is it top down then policy? Is it top down,
absolutely. I mean, and you've got to, the product's got to work, and it's got to solve something meaningful for those guys. And so if I can only really articulate this for us. If we go back to, that long and winding path, and there's 10 places where you lose all your data, and then you copy paste, and the tender addendum comes in, you copy paste again and again. You can articulate that quite easily to a like it's painful thinking about it, right? I don't do it anymore, thankfully. But so if you can say this is what we're doing and why, this is the benefit, and this is how it's going to help, you have a good chance of success. You will still have the laggards because it's a bell curve for a reason.